Welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast, a podcast about business, employment, sports, and entertainment to help educate, support, and guide you to your next level. Here's your host, attorney Sivonnia DeBarros.
Hello. Welcome back to the What Are You Sporting About podcast. I am your host, Sivonnia DeBarros, the protector of athletes, and I'm excited to be on the mic talking with you guys today because guess what? This week will be the start of the NFL draft, and I'm super excited because I get the chance to be in the building. So yes, your girl, the protector of athletes, will be at the draft on Thursday. If you see me, say hello. Don't be a stranger. Don't be shy. Come and say hi. Listen, before I dive into the content today, though, I do want to invite you to join me in July 27th through the 29th for the second annual NIL Combine event live for student athletes. It is the #1 premier event for name, image, and likeness. We are all about breaking those barriers to information and resources so that student athletes can build the legacy and the life that they want on their own terms. How about that, right? How about that? So, if you are a student athlete, or you know a student athlete, don't delay. Go ahead and get your ticket right now. Registration for student athletes is absolutely free. It will be here in Chicago from the 27th through the 29th. You can register right now at bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Again, that is bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. All right, so make sure you go ahead and get your tickets, and I look forward to seeing you here in Chicago this summer. So, like I said, guys, the draft is coming. So, regardless of whether you are an athlete hopeful, someone who is like, hey, I really hope that I get drafted, whether you get drafted or not, it is important that you remain true to your why. It is important that you remain true to your why. And I say that because there are so many entrepreneurs who get lost in the glitz and glam of it all. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where when things are over, if they don't go the way that you want, you don't have the backbone to bounce back. And we call that thing resilience. We call that resilience. Resilience is the way that you bounce back from issues that may be traumatic, that may be um, you know, that could down your spirits. You have to build that muscle of being able to get back up, get back on the horse, and go after everything that you want and that you dreamed of. Now, here's the thing: with the NFL draft, becoming a professional athlete, there's still a why behind that. Why did you want to become a professional athlete in the first place? Why did you want to become a professional athlete in the first place? Go back to that why and allow yourself to make sure that you're making moves in the interim of becoming a professional athlete during your professional career. And of course, in that transition phase of leaving the sport, that you are staying true to you, true to yourself. But I don't want to just talk about that. I do want to talk about 3 key points that you should be focusing on right now as a potential pro hopeful, but also as someone who is going to go pro in life. All right. So, one thing I want you to pay attention to is your career path, career planning. Regardless of athletes, NFL players specifically, regardless of whether some of them have long careers, the truth of the matter is, you know, the average playing time is relatively short. It just is. It just is. So, as an entrepreneur or a professional athlete entrepreneur, it is vitally important to plan for the future and think about what comes next. We cannot be so wet behind the ears that we just think, oh, we're going to play for the rest of our lives. Like that's just going to be the thing. And it's not, because any and everything could happen. You can become injured, right? You could end up not getting your contract extended. All sorts of things could happen. So you may have to actually transition to a new career once your playing days are over. So you want to start thinking about ahead of time, start mapping these things out. What are some things that I really enjoy doing? What could be a really great career for me transitioning out of the professional level of sport, so that you can already get your mind oriented and prepared for that next phase of your life. So you can start planning that right now. Start networking with people in different fields, and start building certain skills that can help you easily transition into those other spaces. All right. So we want to make sure that we are definitely planning for the rest of our lives, not just for the temporary space of professional sports. The second thing I want you to do is think about your brand as an athlete. Everyone carries a brand with them. So the way that you show up, the way that you respond to certain issues, the way that you respond to criticism, the way that you interact with your teammates, the way that you interact with your coaches or leadership staff on the team, the way that you respond to issues in the news and the media are all going to be issues that make up your brand, or at least the brand that other people perceive you as. So, how do you get in control of your brand? You have the ability to be the one to set the standard of what your brand represents and what other people see. So that means that we have to be on high alert every time about how we show up in spaces, how we respond to certain things, and what conduct we want to portray out there. So if there are some things that you wouldn't want to come to light, well, guess what? We can't do it in the dark. We can't do it in the dark. And that just means having a wholesome brand and creating a brand identity that not only you can bank off of later, but a brand that other people trust, a brand that large companies wouldn't mind getting behind and investing in because of the amazing brand and the world's perspective, right? The individuals who are constantly looking at you. So let's make sure that we create those personal brands, but also create a strategy behind the brand now that you are and will have the ability to build while you're in the pros. So one thing that you can do is start going into your social media, leveraging those relationships there. You can start creating partnerships. Sometimes you can create partnerships with the people who are on your team, right? If you make sure that the other individual is keenly aware of what their why is and it makes sense for you, there's synergy there, you guys could definitely create a partnership that could, oh my gosh, pay dividends for years to come. All right, for years to come. So, the last part that I'm going to share with you, and this is, of course, not the last of anything, but part of the three-piece prong that I want you to think about is managing your finances. So, there's so many NFL players that make a significant amount of money. We know this, right? We're talking 10 figures. And some can make 10 figures in just a span of a few years because of their playing capabilities, but that money can be quickly spent or mismanaged if you're not being careful. So that means the people that you bring on your team, the people that you bring to manage your money, that also means how what you are spending your money on. Let me explain it to you like this. If you are an athlete who may have been drafted, but maybe your draft contract is on a lower end, let's just say you are at maybe 1.1 or 2 point, $2 million. Why would you go and buy $1 million house? Right? Because then you have to think about the tax that's associated with that. You have to think about the upkeep for the house. You have to think about the property taxes on the house itself. You have to think about the utility bills that go into that, plus the mortgage payments. There's so many things that you need to think about long term and not just what it looks like to other people for you to have it. So think about what your finances are, how to properly manage those finances, and get the right financial strategist and agent on your team that is going to tell you what is happening with your money. But you also need to be vigilant in understanding how your money is being managed. So that means learning about financial vehicles, learning about how your money is invested in certain places and what that return is. Okay? Don't go broke over somebody else managing your finances and then say, well, I didn't know. because you are the captain of your own ship, and you need to make sure you understand exactly how your money is being used, okay, and or invested. And that goes for you as well, right? Don't misuse your money. Don't go and just spend your money on frivolous things or the entourage just because it looks cool to do. Because I can tell you this, years later, you're going to wake up, you're going to wish that you had, the 500,000 that you just blew on something, whatever that something might be. So you want to begin strategizing for how are you going to save? What is the percentage that you're going to take off of your game check and just save? How much of that are you going to invest? And then you need to sit down and adequately budget for the things that you absolutely need in your life. So save first, invest some, and then you budget the rest to live off of. All right? So let's do a small recap for you guys who are going to the draft, whether you get drafted or not. Here are 3 key points that I want you to stay. I need this to sink in your mind. Number 1, I need you to career plan for the long haul, plan around your life, not just the sport. Think about what you're going to do long term. 2, understand your brand, create a brand that is trustworthy. What you don't want to come to the light, don't do in the dark. And 3, manage your finances. You don't go and spend all your money on anything that doesn't make sense. And you don't go and buy property and cars and whatever else that's going to put your debt at a very high limit to the point that you're going to be living paycheck to paycheck. But also make sure that you bring someone on your team who is going to adequately manage your money, tell you about your money, but you also have to do the work in understanding where your money is going. All right. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. I cannot wait to see you all at the draft this Thursday. If you're gonna be there, make sure you holler at your girl. All right, make sure you holler at me if you see me. Don't be a stranger. And before we wrap up, I would love to invite you guys again. If you are a student athlete, athlete advocate, parent of an athlete, coach of an athlete, I would love for you to come and hang out with me this July through the 27th through the 29th here in Chicago, Illinois, for the 2nd annual NIL Combine. You can go and register right now today at bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. That is bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. Again, bit.ly/NIL Combine 2023. All right, guys, until next time, I will check you later. Ciao.
Joining us this week on What Are You Sporting About podcast. Make sure to visit our website, prosportlawyer.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite platform is, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, What Are You Sporting About? Attorney Sivonnia DeBarros is available for private consulting at sldebarros.com. And remember, we're here to educate, support, and guide you in your journey to success, because we're all sporting about something.